All right, here we go. Lady blows through a yield sign. Okay, so they're supposed to yield. We jumped over 3 lanes. You did this. You caused this. That was stupid. So they're supposed to yield, we're supposed to yield. Saw the sign. Okay, right here. Let's go in the first available. They stay on their first available. That's a terrible line. They stay on their first available. There's a whole lane right here that nobody's going to be a part of. So we have this big space cushion between us, which is a lane. We were supposed to go in that first available. Now we're right here side by side with each other, right? Let's say we're right here. That's me. That's them. We're side by side. I need to get into this building. You know, maybe I have to take a dump or I'm late for class, whatever it is, right? Well, I'm going to go ahead and apply the brakes, switch over while they continue going. So it's either an ego problem or like I need to get to my class, or it's not even a class. It's just maybe he's trying to go to the gym. I don't know. It's a commercial building. He's trying to get there. So ego, right? Or think about it. New rider, dumb rider, whatever it is. New riders are pretty dumb. I'm gonna say it right there. Imagine a 5-year-old trying to get into a calculus class. He's pretty dumb. Like it's not gonna work. He's not gonna understand what's going on. Right? So new people are dumb. Simple as that. But that's a great quality because you know you're dumb when it comes to starting something new. Means that you only have up to go. You can only learn more. You can always learn until you're not dumb anymore. And that's true. Anybody that starts anything is dumb at start. Not a weird thing to say. It is what it is. So if this is a new rider, probably doesn't know how to turn very well. Pretty dumb. Shouldn't be on the road. Should be practice in a parking lot, practice in your neighborhood. If you're a new rider, I got this whole book right here where you can practice in your neighborhood until you even get on the road, learn everything. So pretty stupid, pretty dumb. Okay, so if that's the case, practice your skills. If it's an ego problem, practice your skills. It's all a skill. Physical skill of riding a bike, mental skill of emotional regulation and making sure that you're not actively doing dumb things because you just aren't aware. Become more self-aware. It's all skills. Life is just about acquiring skills. That's it. And that's the other thing is that he blamed this lady blows through a yield sign. So now we're blaming, that's the thing. If we blame the lady, we don't grow. If we blame somebody else in a relationship when it comes to mental skills, we don't grow. It's a weird thing to say, I always blame myself. I do, because it's my responsibility at all times. No matter what the situation, it's my responsibility how I respond to anything else. Now, it's not my responsibility, and I don't take accountability for how somebody else does something, but I'm accountable and I'm responsible for how I respond to that. And there's always a proper response. There's always a healthy boundary type response when it comes to anything. So if we're going to complain that, hey, the city didn't take care of the roads and that's why I crashed, it's your responsibility to understand how to get around those things, those road surface hazards like all those potholes or whatever. It's your responsibility. It's their responsibility to take care of the roads and they're not doing it. It's still your responsibility. You're choosing to be on the road. You're choosing to be in that relationship. You're choosing. So you're an active participant. You're accountable for your behavior. You're accountable for your skill acquisition. All right.
Although the rider behind
nice space cushion, nice line of sight. Yeah, you got to focus though. Just because you have a good space cushion doesn't mean you're going to be able to maintain it if you don't focus. Filming with a potato. Oh, did somebody behind him crash? Oh no, so he wasn't paying attention. Okay, so everyone in the group ride needs to be paying attention here. Oh.
You all right?
Remain calm, ensure your own safety. He's talking on the car, like, hey, buddy, you all right? That's going to be hard to lift. It's much easier to get on the other side and lift, but thankfully he has somebody that helps him. He was pinned underneath it, and that weight's being pushed on him, and the curb is a lever against his shoulder blade. Okay, so if you guys want to see what it looks like to layer down and slam that front brake really hard so that you lose traction on the front tire, and this is a great metaphor for it, and this is what I use all the time. So you're running on grass, right? So you're running on grass, and it's wet. It's a wet grass, and you don't have cleats. You just have like flat Vans or something, or just regular shoes. So you're running, and now you have to stop. Do you plant your feet? Because if you plant your feet straight down, both feet, and try to stop, you're going to slide, right? You're going to slide and not be able to stop, and you lose control. You're trying to balance the slide, right? But you keep sliding pretty far. Now, if you're running and you need to stop, what do you do when it's wet grass? Or even when it's just anything, right? You start doing pitter patter, slowing yourself down. You're like, right? That's what ABS does. And this is what non-ABS bikes do when you slam that front brake. It stops, and then you slide. And now you're trying to balance. But now you're trying to balance on two tires, right? It's going to be hard to do. The front tire tends to slip out from underneath you. So if you don't have ABS, or you do have ABS, how do we prevent the front tire from just stopping and then sliding? Progressive front brake pressure. The whole point of the grass thing and stopping on time is that when you stop really quick, you don't have traction because you're sliding on the wet grass. When you're doing you're gaining traction while slowing down. Traction, slowing down. So with progressive brake pressure, what that does with or without ABS, the goal is not to activate ABS. The ABS is just a safety net. The goal is to brake without activating it. If you don't have it, the goal is to slow down. So applying front brake pressure just a little bit, and I talk about that in the new book with braking. You apply a little bit. What happens is it's that first one. So you got a little bit of traction, a little bit of weight to stop. And when you apply a little bit more braking, the next, a little bit more braking, the next, a little bit more braking, the next, a little bit more braking, the next. So it's a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. And you can do that quick. You can do a little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit. It's not smash. It's a little bit, 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 until you stop. You can do that quicker, or you can do it slow. So you naturally do it slow coming up to a stop sign and a stoplight. And when in an emergency braking, you have to learn how to do it quicker. That's it. So you can practice that quicker part in a parking lot. You can practice the slow version of it, going to just riding around stop signs, stoplights, and all that other stuff. If you want to practice when you're out riding, you don't want to go to a parking lot, just treat the stoplight. Don't like, hey, I'm going to go up to it quick and then now do it. No, treat the stoplight as where you need to stop. And ahead of time, when you normally would do it slowly, just do it quickly, and then stop way ahead of the line. Now, hopefully no cars are behind. Do it when there's no vehicles around. So do it, stop, and then now you have a big gap between you and the line where the stoplight is and where you stopped, and then you can do slow friction zone practice to get to the line. So you're able to practice this anywhere where you ride, parking lot, or on the road. But that's the whole point, is progressive brake pressure. The only way you're going to know that is if you can perceive and respond with that. So the whole thing here is that this rider did not perceive that this was happening. So a panic took over. So that's why you have to focus when you are riding. Because if you do not perceive somebody stopping in front of you, if you do not perceive a road surface hazard, if you don't perceive the open lane pattern, you don't perceive anything because you're in la-la land, you're never going to be able to respond in time. So you need to stay focused when you're riding or driving. Wasn't paying attention. Right there. You see that it kind of just dived down? Let's go back just. Watch the headlight. You see the headlight just goes, it does this. That's the moment he applied brake pressure. And then he slammed it too much and then he dumped it. Ready? Right there. And he slammed it even harder.
You all right?
Patiently waiting, double check. We're gonna merge over. Nice little hand signal, very good. Just grooving, check, check.
He was completely cut off.
Hey, he's planning his ride. He's locating hazardous situations. He's assessing relevant threats. Oh. Yeah.
Listen, man, are you okay? I'm gonna call right now.
Very good. Call 911 right away.
What are you doing? I'm calling. All right. Yeah. You want to get off the road, bro? I'm not moving anywhere. Don't listen, please. No, you're good. I got the road. There. An impacted a motorcyclist. He is down on the ground. Go to jail. Go to jail.
Shut up.
I know. We know. I heard.
People are just like get so angry. I get it. I mean, I'd be angry too, but it's called emotional regulation. Okay, let's just get to this point right here. So he's doing everything. He's planning his ride. He's checking. And that's one of the things. Even if you do everything right and you fail and you get into a crash because you're doing everything right, but things happen. It is what it is. As smart riders, we acquire and use personal protective equipment just in case. Not wearing gloves. He's wearing a helmet at least, but it fell off. So make sure you strap it in. Make sure you're wearing full gear just in case. Hopefully it's going to mitigate severity of injury. So he's looking. He did a lane change. He's going to do a lane change. Checked again, did a lane change. Okay, right here. What do we do? 3 things. Mercy brake, mercy swerve, mercy accelerate. Mercy accelerate into the situation, cause more problems. Mercy swerving to the right, we're going to kind of intersect. I would do a hard swerve to the left as best I can and try to get right here as best I can. Okay, cool, right? Another thing we can do, emergency progressive braking. Apply the brakes as best and as fast as possible. Squeeze to get some pressure onto that front tire so we get some weight and traction on the front tire. More. As best as we possibly can. Now, I'm using the front hand right here because you can't see my toes, but I'm also going to be applying rear brake pressure at the same time, the same amount, same thing, both. As best I can, okay? And if it fails, I always wear gear when I ride my motorcycle. So he tried to swerve. Let's get right before the blur. Full hand on the throttle, even increasing throttle. So we tried to swerve right, increasing throttle. At no point did we apply the brakes. So he did try to swerve, so I'll give him that. He did one of the 3 things. He didn't honk the horn, rev bomb, so I give him that. He didn't just freeze. I give him that. He tried something. It failed. And that's the whole point of an after-action review is we find the failure points, we find the successes, we try to figure out what went right, what went wrong, and then use this information so that we are now educated guessers, educated people to learn what we can and can't do. So right here, wear gear, don't accelerate into the curve or into where the car's going with a swerve. In this situation, it would have been best to apply the brakes or swerve hard left. Simple as that. Just cruising. Nice little Honda Rebel. I love it. Oh, side of the vehicle. There it is. Slow down, slow down. Nice swerve. Yes. I love it. You can see the decision making happening. I want that saddle or the sissy bar that he's got. Write in the comments if you guys know where a good sissy bar is. All right, so we're coming up to here. Just cruising. Side of the vehicle. See it way ahead. It's hard to see on here, but you can see it way ahead. So he's like, maybe he's going the first available lane. Maybe he's doing a U-turn. He's going to get in that far left lane. Not a big problem for me. We located the hazardous situation. I'm in a decent position for safety right now. If they stay in that first lane, is it a relevant threat? Only if he's going in my lane. If he becomes an active threat, yes, I have to do something. I have to do something. Oh, now he's in my lane. So now I have to do something. You see now the hand's moving. You see he perceived it, immediate reaction. What do I do? So now where's my escape? Do I emergency brake? Do I emergency swerve? Do I emergency accelerate? What do I do? I'm going to choose the swerve because my escape path, I can, as a motorcycle rider, not as a car driver, but as a motorcycle rider, I can get on the shoulder and make that. Okay, because I'm not going to be able to stop in time. There's not enough total stopping distance right now. I can't really accelerate out of it. I have to swerve. And swerving is going to be a big one that you do a lot. Braking and making sure that you can get it, you perceive it ahead of time, you have enough space cushion, that works a lot. Emergency acceleration is just to get yourself out of something. And that's it's kind of rare, but not much. Swerving is going to be the majority of what you do. So really practice your swerves. And practice a swerve that goes from one lane to the next. Don't just be like, I did a little baby swerve. No, practice big swerves, which are just lane changes. So one thing I do when I'm riding on the road, if there's no traffic, let's say I'm on the far right of this lane and I'm like, okay, there's no traffic. Okay. All right, it's time to practice my swerves. So I'm going to swerve hard until I get into the middle of the next lane. I know the line is weird, but it's going to be different when you're actually doing it. But I'm going to swerve from far right of this lane to middle or far left of this lane over here. So that's a practice of a full swerve. I don't want you guys being like, oh yeah, I practice my swerves all the time. I start right here and I swerve right here. It's like, that's a swerve. That's great. But you want to practice a big swerve because if you do big swerves, this is going to be easy. If all you do is practice this one, a big swerve is going to be hard. So go further as best you can. So good job on the swerve. Chose to honk the horn. I wouldn't waste any movements. I'd make sure I'm safe. I wouldn't do that just because I would focus on ahead. But good job. Good job.